Coming up on Operation Outreach, some military veterans may face unique issues and struggles that land them in the justice system. Veterans Treatment Court is a specialized court system designed specifically to address the needs of military veterans, and we'll learn more about this groundbreaking program and how it benefits those who find themselves in legal trouble. Welcome to Operation Outreach, a program highlighting the services available to military veterans in Central Florida. I'm Fred Robinson, chair of the Orange County Mayor's Veterans Advisory Council. Veterans Treatment Court is providing support to military veterans through a unique collaborative approach involving all aspects of the justice and social service system. Here to tell us more is the Honorable Alicia L. Lattimore, a Ninth Circuit Court judge who presides over the Veterans Treatment Court in Orange County. Judge Lattimore, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Judge Lattimore, can you tell me what are the key factors of the establishment of Veterans Treatment Court?
Well, the Veterans Treatment Court was established so that we could have a unique approach to dealing with the unique challenges of veterans who have served our country and who have returned with difficulties reintegrating into the civilian life. Veterans often returned having had experiences that led to post-traumatic syndrome disorders, mental issues, mental health issues, as well as substance abuse disorders. And so that often will trip them up into being involved with our criminal justice system. And therefore, Veterans Treatment Court was established to help to address those underlying issues as opposed to simply resulting to punishment, but in fact offering them a solution so that they no longer find themselves in our justice system.
Can you explain of a unique situation that you may be experienced with a veteran?
Well, I experienced lots of unique situations with veterans because they are just very individual and unique persons. And with that, I find that I learn much more about them each and every day that I'm able to interact in my courts. I find that they have often challenges that society really never recognized. Many don't understand that when our veterans return home, they often are faced with poverty. They often can be faced with homelessness. They often have lost contact with their inner circles, such as their family, their friends, and often live lives of isolation. And so with that, it is important that we address those needs on an individual basis so that we can offer them the services and the support that they need so they can be a healthy and contributing part of our society even after they've offered their service.
Have you noticed any of the veterans are in denial, like nothing's wrong with me, or that type of mindset or stigma?
Yes, I think that's common, and that's not only common with veterans, but anyone who might be dealing with the issues of substance abuse or substance use disorders or mental health issues when being diagnosed with a certain mental health disorder and being unwilling to accept that that might be the appropriate diagnosis and you may need treatment. So I don't think that's necessarily unique to the veterans, but I do believe that veterans, because of the service that they've offered and their experience in the military, are often resistant to finding that there is something that they may have suffered as a result of their offer of service, and that they carried that with them even after they left the military.
Yeah, a lot of times that's true. And how does a Veteran Treatment Court differ from traditional court?
Well, the Veterans Treatment Court program is a specialized collaborative team approach. And so we have a team which involves different individuals from different professions who come together to provide an individual specialized treatment plan for the veteran. And that includes judges, case managers, mental health treatment providers, substance abuse treatment providers, as well as we work closely with the Veterans Administration and offer those benefits and connections with service for our individuals who participate. We don't simply take a punishment approach. We believe that we need to address the underlying issue, and that will stop the cycle of having the veteran come back to our criminal justice system and help them to avoid a cycle of incarceration.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm glad that the VA is helping to support that as well. And, you know, a lot of veterans when they come home, there's challenges, as you mentioned, different things that they go through that they keep to themselves. There's, they're invisible wounds.
Yes.
And a lot of them, they don't know how to deal with it. And unfortunately, they get in trouble, and some of them get into homelessness as well.
Yes, yes. And so we're able to offer them assistance. They are able to be connected with HUD-VASH if they qualify, which many of them have not had the opportunity to take advantage of. We have a VSO, a Veteran Service Officer, who is on our team. We
Great.
also have connections and a liaison who meets with us as part of our staffing before we go into court. So we are well connected with the services that the VA offers so that we could pass that down to our participants.
Can you share some success stories that has impacted some of the veterans that you actually oversaw?
Yes, we have lots of success stories, and so I have the benefit of being able to preside over their graduations once they've completed our treatment program. We offer them a medal, we offer them an armband and a certificate so that they can continue to know the success that they've reached and continue to apply those tools. But we also have a success story in Eddie Jenkins, who is one of the members who is a part of our Veterans Treatment Court program, and he has an exceptional story from the beginning of his cycle before going into the military and where that led him, and then ultimately graduating from our program.
Okay, and I understand that you have a mentorship program.
We do.
Could you tell me a little bit about the mentorship program, how people can get involved, and the benefit that that has on the particular veterans in Veterans Treatment Court?
Yes, well, the mentorship program is important, and the reestablishment of that mentorship program here in the Ninth Circuit is critical in making sure that we have a successful program and that our participants are successful not only while they're in the program, but when they successfully complete the program. Mentors are there to offer our participants and our veterans support, and also to help them to guide through the system as they attempt to figure out how to actually be a part of the treatment program and encourage them to achieve rehabilitation, as well as to assist them with reintegration into our society. So with that, they are not a court staff. Our mentors are not a member of the court staff, and therefore they don't have an allegiance or a duty to report anything to us. They are there for the sole purpose of supporting and helping the veteran to be successful. So now that veteran has someone who has the ability to share experiences with them, to also to be a confidant for them, and also to be a cheerleader for them. Mentorship is important. It is a key factor in the success of our veterans in our program, and we surely would like to encourage those who are in the community to volunteer to be mentors for our participants.
What steps can be taken to expand access to Veterans Treatment Court?
We can often share the information. That's first and foremost, is sharing the information and getting that information out into the community to let the community be aware that the Veterans Treatment Court exists. It is an alternative route throughout the criminal justice system, and many are not aware of that. So that's important that we share that with veterans, with their families, as well as members of the community and community organizations that we have. Involvement with other agencies and other partnerships in the community is important. And so the more that the word gets out and the more that there's awareness within our community and support for the veterans who participate, the more successful we believe that the program will be. And we can touch a lot more lives in that regard.
Judge Lattimore, we've learned a lot. I appreciate your passion, and I appreciate the service that you provide to the veterans in our community. I want to thank you for letting me interview you today as well.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been wonderful to learn about this great service available to our military veterans right here in Orange County. I want to thank Judge Lattimore again for joining us. Veterans Treatment Court is making a big difference in the lives of military veterans who find themselves in the court system, and it's not the only program helping our local veterans. Coming up next, we'll hear from Veterans Treatment Court graduate Eddie Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins is an example of a positive, successful VTC participant who can provide his story. Veterans Treatment Court graduate Eddie Jenkins is here to share his story. Welcome, Eddie.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us about your overall experience in Veterans Treatment Court program?
Yeah, sure. My overall experience with the Veterans Treatment Court program, it was good. It was everybody's there to take really good care of you. They're going to make sure that they hold you accountable to everything that you're signing up to do, because at the end of it, you're going to benefit greatly from it. So.
And what branch of the military were you in?
I was in the Marine Corps.
And how long were you in?
4 years.
Semper Fi.
Semper Fi.
Fellow Marine. What led you to participate, and what significant moment or insights did you gain during your time in the program?
What led me to participate in particular was I needed help in a lot of ways that I didn't know how to help myself. And this was an option that was presented to me. I didn't know much about it, but essentially I took a leap of faith and committed to the program.
And being a veteran, I know a lot of times it's challenging because we never want to admit that anything is wrong with us or anything is going on.
Right.
So it's a hard barrier to overcome. In what ways has the program contributed to your overall well-being and stability?
I honestly don't think that I would be stable, or I would definitely wouldn't have made any forward progress in life had I not signed up for the program. So it's helped me greatly.
Can you give me some examples of that?
Yeah, sure. One thing that I learned while going through the program, I was one of those guys who, if you told me to be somewhere at 9:30, I would show up either at 9:30 or 9:35, 9:40. It seemed like something was always coming up. Wasn't good with time management. But after going through the program, that was one of the things that really started to make me notice that I was making progress or evolving, was my ability to be able to get somewhere on time, actually, as crazy as that might sound, but it's serious. I was there on time, and then it became 5 minutes early, and then I stopped worrying about if I was going to be late or if I wasn't going to be there at all. So
Then it became like the Marine Corps, hurry up and wait.
it did. It did. I quickly had gotten out of that, hurry up to wait. So, but yeah, no, it's good.
Did you have any mentors while you were in the program?
I didn't really have any mentors per se, but I did have a good core group of people who really were there for me. And actually, one of those people that was in my core group was my case manager. So she was awesome.
Eddie, how has your perception of the justice system changed through your experience in the program?
My perception of the justice system, it really hasn't changed all that much. I think really what I can say for certain is that there are good people in this world, on both sides of the coin. Good people get in trouble, and then there are good people who are in the justice program that will help individuals, get out of the mess that they made, hold them accountable, and get to the next step in their life. So.
And that's important, because now you can mentor other people and let other people know about the value of the system that you've just went through and how it's helped you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I would recommend this program to any veteran who finds himself in a position to have to utilize it, because it definitely will change and save your life.
What message would you like to tell other veterans who are struggling with the same type of situation?
I'd like to tell them to hold themselves accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable first and foremost before anybody can even think about helping you, because then at that point I think you'll be susceptible to the help, but you got to do it. So,
has there been any other veterans while you were going through your experience that asked you different questions as far as the challenges they were having going through the system, and whether they were going to cop out or whether they were going to stay forward?
To be honest, everybody has their own walk and journey through the program, but I was really in need of some slowing down and organizing. So I had it pretty hard. So I looked at other people as, almost, if they could do it, I can do it, because I didn't want to be the one to cop out, because I had it pretty hard.
Okay. And how has this helped you and your family going through this particular program?
It's
How
helped.
has it benefited?
Yeah, we've benefited greatly. It's helped tremendously from being able to maintain stability within life and all avenues of life to just, like I said before, about just small things, being on time now for anything.
Okay. With that being said, I appreciate you sharing your experience with us. And what would you like to say to anybody about the program who has interest in it and maybe uncertainty about it as well? What would you like to say to them? What message would you like to give them?
To just have the courage, he or she to have the courage to just do it. That's it.
Okay. Well, Eddie, I want to thank you for your service. I appreciate you coming here today and sharing your story with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I appreciate everything that Veterans Court is doing for our veterans. And a question I'd like to ask you, with Veterans Court, is there any resources for veterans to have, let's say, for instance, suits to appear in front of the judge or anything like that?
Yeah, there's a plethora of organizations that will help our veterans, whether it be help for resumes, if they need lifts, rides. There's a ride share program that I just recently heard about. There's plenty of resources, but the veterans have to come and take advantage of those resources.
Yeah, I'm just looking for, their appearance when they go interview for a job with an employer.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's
There's
very
help.
important.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Well, thank you again, Eddie. I appreciate your service, and I appreciate you letting me interview you again today.
Yeah, not a problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Eddie's story is a great example of how Veterans Treatment Court makes a difference in the lives of military veterans who find themselves in the court system, and it's not the only program helping our veterans. We'll be back with more Operation Outreach after this.
Harm reduction is really an idea of meeting people where they're at and being a supportive environment to people who use drugs. Recognizing that those who use drugs, include our veterans, have a lot of stigma that they face. And often that stigma comes from the criminalization of drug use. And also this idea that addiction is a personal weakness rather than an actual medical entity. And often the same people would also face it even from people like us in the healthcare professional, where they get cares that are treated different. So harm reduction, I think, from overarching theme is looking at understanding that accepting people for who they are, recognizing that addiction is not a personal failure or weakness, and that it is a medical entity and should be treated as such.
I'm a clinical pharmacist and I'm located on the infectious disease team. We have 6 infectious disease doctors and 2 infectious disease pharmacists and 1 social worker. I have 40 patients scheduled to meet each week, and most of my patients either have HIV or they are taking PrEP for HIV prevention, or they have hepatitis B or C, and then some of them are just, other infectious diseases that are more rare. But I see patients and I order labs, and in the VA I can order medications for them in my scope as well.
Yeah, so right now we are trying to focus on reducing harm through sterile syringe programs, through PrEP medications, which is an HIV prevention. The way we're doing that is we are going into our local facilities like the Lake Nona Dom. It's our substance abuse treatment facility, and offering classes and educational opportunities for veterans to know how to plug into those resources. We also do a lot of community outreach, doing different programs like the health department. When they have specific events, we are invited to those. Our homeless program is also an opportunity for us to be out in the field, meeting veterans when they are, really needing us in the community, and avoiding having to come into a healthcare facility.
I can't even imagine what it's like being a veteran, somebody who put their life on the line, defending their country, not being able to sleep when they're deployed, and now having to come back and transition into society. Some of these experiences stay with you. right? And when that happens, there's a lot of psychosocial that occur. And often our veterans would have, in order to try to quiet these voices, often reach out to different substances. And that, I think, is where we often forget that's why it's a addiction, right? Addiction as a medical condition. And they do struggle because they themselves can feel ashamed because of what society says. And that's why they themselves struggle to even come and be honest and open, because the few times when they are honest and open, often we have healthcare providers who don't understand, who says, why don't you just quit? And that's not how it works. Recovery is often a journey, it's not a destination.
When I'm working with my other colleagues, we have a huge social work department. We have colleagues that are in mental health, that are in the homeless program, and I work very directly with them. Our intimate partner violence coordinator is also a point of contact for me to help me bring veterans into these services. Primary care, when veterans present for their regular appointments, they may mention that they are struggling with substance abuse, and those primary care social workers can reach out to me and we can get them plugged into services as quickly as possible to help avoid any long-term effects from their current situation. So harm reduction is everybody's problem, right? We want to make sure that veterans feel supported, and sometimes where they're at in their life isn't the prettiest picture. So knowing that they can go somewhere when they're struggling with substance use, maybe injecting drugs, like I said, or having multiple partners because they're coping in ways that they didn't expect to, with things like PTSD, depression, anxiety, loneliness. We are offering them an avenue to continue, but be safe.
Aside from giving out test strips such as fentanyl test strip, we are also a big proponent on using naloxone, otherwise known as Narcan, and it's a medication to reverse opioid overdose. And it's something that we feel strongly that everybody should be able to carry. And again, that's part of our comprehensive whole health approach. There's this program of ending the HIV epidemic by 2030. And one of the way is to engage, number one, to diagnose veterans, right? And to increase our screening. Often, many people go through lives thinking that, well, I can't possibly get HIV. I don't need to be screened. People thinking that there is there's a perception that they have a low risk of acquiring HIV. So one of the mechanisms we provide is we increase our screening by being willing to talk about sex. I mean, the joke I have is, I don't know about you, but I don't often talk about sex too with even my best friend. But the idea here is what the VA is all about is about whole health, right? We're not just here to give you medication, but we're here to talk about your well-being, your sexual health. And in doing so, we're able to increase our screening rates for HIV. Then of course, once we screen, and should we have veterans who do test positive, again, with the one-stop shop model, we bring them right in. We get the labs, we talk to them, we prescribe the medication, and then we provide close follow-up afterward. And I think that because of that, that's why our rate of what we call undetectable viral load is over 96%. So veterans who come see us, more than 96% of them have undetectable viral load. Of course, that's not perfect. And here at the VA, we're aiming for perfection. So that 4%, we continue to focus. We have our social worker to reach out, we have our pharmacists reaching out, because again, creating that safe environment, recognizing, what are the barriers? Once we recognize that there are barriers, we do the best that we can. So these are some of the services we provide here in the ID clinic to help diagnose as well as treat HIV.
If you'd like to learn more information on anything that we discussed today, as well as how to connect with our local Veteran Service Officer, just go to ocfl.net/veterans. That's where you'll be able to find links and contact information you need. I hope you'll be joining us again for Operation Outreach, as we will continue to highlight the many programs and services available to the military veterans in Central Florida. Until then, I'm Fred Robinson. Take care and thanks for watching.